Hey guys, Ashley here, also known as the AJ fan. I am back today with a brand new video, and I know that it's been weeks and weeks and weeks. I don't even know what was my last video. I think it was the couples videos, and I will be getting started on that. I already made my list for couples who should be in game, and I will be getting started on that very soon. And just a little hint: the first two couples I'm going to be talking about is Selena and Buffy and Angel. So think I deserve a little bit of a spoiler since I've been absent. But today I thought since I get back into the groove of making videos, today I'm gonna do something a little bit different from my original couple videos. Today I'm gonna be talking about my top 14 WWE unpopular women opinions. Um, Even though I really don't care for women's wrestling right now, even with Trish and Lena coming back to Raw, I can really appreciate Triple H trying to bring them back to give it some type of some variety. It just still feels very boring and bland to me. Um, I just don't think nothing really has a really consistent build heading into WrestleMania, and you would think since Trish Stratus and Lena are legends that you would use them a little bit more properly with respect. But enough about Triple H and WrestleMania. Let's get into my 14 unpopular opinions. Pretty much these are my opinions, and I honestly feel like I'm gonna try. Well, not even try my best. I know that I'm gonna state every opinion with a fact on here, and I feel like this is some of the unpopular opinions that I just always had in my head. I just never got a chance to write them down until yesterday. So let's get into it. Coming in number one is Naomi is one of the most misused talents in the women's division, and I definitely feel like this is a big opinion that fans feel like. I definitely feel like Naomi is one of the missed opportunities that WWE ever messed up on. I feel like she had so much athleticism. She just needed a little bit more work with her presentation. Not even her presentation. I love the glow thing. I think it dragged on way too long, if you ask me. I know something about her really works as a baby face. I just don't think they ever gave her anything like they never gave her no real storylines to play off on her babyface character. Every time they gave her a storyline, it was either quickly abandoned or it was just plain out stupid. Here's an example: the Mandy Rose storyline. I thought it was extremely entertaining, but the storyline was very stupid, especially when you get to the execution. This whole time, Mandy Rose pretended to be interested in Jimmy just to get close to Naomi. It doesn't make a lot of sense for a lot of different reasons. It's just like, wow, you could have made Mandy Rose a legit heel towards Naomi, but instead you don't do that. You just It was just stupid. Let's just say that it was just dumb. And I feel like her championship reign in 2017 was poorly mishandled. Um, I just feel like a lot about Naomi. Just they really misused her heel turn in 2015 was definitely underwhelming. Probably one of the most underwhelming heel turns in WWE history. She seemed a little bit more comfortable on the mic. Her heel mannerisms seemed like her. She was cutting amazing promos. And I think WWE messed it up by having Sasha, Charlotte, and Becky all debut at the same time because it kind of just took away everything else that everyone else is already doing at that time. Paige and Nikki Bella were having a feud that lasted way too fucking long, and they kind of just pushed that all to the side to just have these teams, which I think made literally no sense, but whatever. And Naomi, her heel turn was pushed aside because of the NXT women's popularity. So I just feel like Naomi deserves so much more, and hopefully she does come back because I definitely think she deserves a lot more. Maybe Triple H can think of something to give her. I think the best route for her is to join the Bloodline. I don't know how long the Bloodline is going to be a group, but I think she needs to join before before they apart from each other, before they all divorce each other. I think they need to do that because I just don't feel like Naomi. I just feel like Naomi got the worst at the end of the ringer. I just feel like she deserved better. So coming in number two, and I hear this one a lot from fans, and I just wanna I'm gonna stick up for her today. Usually I'm not a big fan of them. I'm not, and I'm gonna stick up for her today. Coming in number two, Rebella is not a bad wrestler. I definitely hear a lot of people saying that she's terrible in the ring. She's just not good in the ring. And you know what? I think one of the reasons why Brie probably gets a bad gets bashed on a lot is because she does botch a lot. But I don't think her botches are like Paige botches, but like they're so noticeable and like terrible, like just awkward. I think Bree, she botches because she takes a lot of risk. I think she botches because she does take a lot of risks in the ring. She's trying to show her athletic style, her high flying style, and I think that's why she's always end up botching. And people just feel like, oh my gosh, she's such a terrible wrestler. But I never thought Brie was a terrible wrestler. I do think Nikki is the better wrestler out of the two, but I never thought Brie was bad. And the reason why I think Nikki Bella is a better wrestler is because I think Nikki could change her wrestling style just a little bit more. She can be athletic. She can be a powerhouse. She can be, what's the word I'm looking for? Submissionative. She can, I'm looking for the other word. I just can't think of it. So you know what? Whatever. She can change her wrestling style. She, I don't think her wrestling style always matches the other person, but I do think she does make the best out what she's given. Maybe her moveset is a little repetitive as a heel and a babyface. So I always feel like why was she always wrestling the same as a heel and babyface? But whatever. But I do think Nikki is a better wrestler than Brie. I think Brie, her high flying style kind of worked for her. And another thing too that I think Brie learned from Daniel Bryan is the psychology of a wrestling match, the execution of a wrestling match, and wrestling. I cannot. What is the wrestling word? I cannot think of it. But you know the certain matches that people have. I think she did learn it from Daniel Bryan. But I never thought Brie was a bad wrestler, so I'm gonna stick up for Brie, and I don't think she's a bad wrestler. I definitely think she's better in the ring than Becky Lynch and Bailey. Definitely, I would say out of the four horsewomen, they're the worst two in the ring. So I definitely think she's better than them in the ring. Coming in number 3, and this one might hurt people because I'm gonna state my fact. Um, the only good female rivals to me in this company that I feel like stretched and it actually went somewhere and developed both of the females is Trish and Lena and AJ Lee and Caitlyn. Now, follow me. I do think there are other good female rivalries. I do think, even though I feel like this rivalry didn't really have much of a huge storyline, for what we got, I enjoyed it. Sasha and Charlotte was pretty good. I love Trish and Mickey James. Um, Lena and Mickey James was pretty good. Michelle McCool and Layla's feud in 2011. Like, I thought those were really good female feuds. Um, but hell, AJ Lee and the Bella Twins, like I thought those were really good. But I don't really think that those feuds really compare to these two that I just said. I think Trish and Lena, they did such a good job developing each other and developing themselves during this feud. I think they really fought tooth and nail to get women to the position that they were at that time. And I feel like sometimes the thank you shouldn't only go to one person, but I definitely feel like they were the two that WWE pushed that were behind. They were behind the most during that time because they saw something in them that they just probably weren't seeing in the other females, which is fine. Everyone played a huge part. I will give them that, but I think Trish and Lena wanted it just a lot more than the other women did, and I think that's what made their feud just really exciting because they both weren't just both of them played babyface, both of them played a heel. It was just such a good, consistently storyline that just was really good. They main evented Raw, won a iconic match. Trish had her final match with Lena at Unforgiven. Lena giving her her last title, tying the knot as a 7-time women's champion. Like that's just those are just ones you don't forget. Um, so yeah, AJ Lee and Caitlyn. I honestly feel like AJ Lee at the time was the female wrestler that they really put all their eggs in her basket. She was doing things that other women in the PG era just were not allowed to do. She was involved with top guys, having mega segments every night on Raw and SmackDown. She was always involved in something, whether it was a match. She main evented a whole bunch of. She closed out a lot of Raws and SmackDowns. She was openers to some of them, starting off the show. she was a former Raw general manager. Like she had one of the most important segments in a Raw 1000 episode. Like AJ Lee was definitely someone that Vince McMahon was like, yeah, she's the one that's going to carry this women's division, and she did. For those, I think for those 3 years that she was there, she definitely carried the women's division. I don't think no one was as big as her or doing it as better than her. And I think the feud with Caitlyn just really proved that even more. Caitlyn is definitely one of the worst champions. She's so irrelevant. But this feud was just gonna be epic, no matter how they wrote it. And AJ Lee becoming the number one contender made the most sense. No one else deserves to be number one contender more than she does. And I think her and Caitlyn the feud was really great. I liked the whole Secret Admirer thing. It was a different touch from regular female feuds, like I hate you, or not even that. I hate to say I hate you, or like building up that tension. I loved how they build up this, and then we got towards the tension. AJ Lee delivering amazing promos, amazing segments every night, and Caitlyn did her part too, playing the babyface, playing the mentally paranoid ex friend, just worrying about losing her title. And that match at Payback was just really great. Honestly, one of the best women's matches I've ever seen. They really paid off. I definitely think that them being the opening match was to set off the rest of the pay per view, and I believe that her and Caitlyn had a good opener, and no one's ever gonna forget this feud, and I definitely feel like these two feuds are the pioneers for female wrestling. I think these two feuds took female wrestling to different heights that no one's ever seen before. So hopefully they talk about Paige and Caitlyn's rivalry on WWE Rivals probably, but I just think these two feuds definitely was the pioneer for females wrestling, and it developed each woman very, very consistently. Coming in number 4, and I was watching WWE Rivals last night, and this guy, Freddie Prinze Jr., said that Stephanie McMahon's and Brie Bella's feud is just as good as the Mr. McMahon and Stone Cold Steve Austin feud. And I'm going to let you guys know something right now. Stephanie McMahon and Brie Bella's rivalry is nowhere near the McMahon and Austin feud. Nowhere near that. Nowhere near. I'm not taking anything away from the rivalry. The rivalry was big because it put Brie, someone who didn't really do much of anything on the roster, she was featured in a really big feud with someone like Stephanie, a star, someone who could actually talk on the mic, who has charisma, she could carry segments. You get the whole jazz. And this feud is just nowhere near the McMahon feud. I'm sorry. Stephanie does have a lot of her father's mannerisms, but this feud, the McMahon and Austin feud was a consistent thing. And Stone Cold, what he has over Brie Bella is charisma. He can talk on the microphone. He has a character, and he can also carry segments. He just had this real natural charisma that balanced off Mr. McMahon perfectly. That made the segments just so interesting, and the feud just so iconic to watch. I mean, think about it. They had this match. Brie lost, and it kind of didn't really go anywhere. So it sucks that Brie never got her upcomings against Stephanie, because you kind of always saw Stone Cold get his upcomings against Vince. But it's kind of like this rivalry didn't really go anywhere didn't really go anywhere like it should have. I don't think that was really the end of it after SummerSlam, and they kind of just like chopped it off. But anyway, coming in number 5, Vicky Guerrero is an underrated storyteller. And I would just say, not just an underrated storyteller, I think Vicky Guerrero is an underrated talent. Vicky Guerrero was so annoying. She was annoying as fuck. But I always thought Vicky was really good when it came to her character stuff, being obnoxious, her storytelling. Like, her stuff with Edge in 2007 from like 2010 was really good. A lot of people said they hated the storyline about him and Vicky Guerrero being in a relationship. I absolutely loved all of it. And I just think it's just very underrated. I do think they did drop the ball with her by having her go with Dolph Ziggler. And I think they kind of just dropped the ball. But her just constantly putting herself in an authority role was just so annoying, because she's just annoying as ever. But I definitely feel like Vicky was really good at what she was given. She was always in character, always playing up to her mannerisms and her character traits. And I mean, who could forget that her and AJ Lee had a fucking rivalry? I mean, no one talks about that. How they also had a authority, like it was like employee versus the authority figure. It's just crazy to me. But anyway, so I mean, seriously, she had like rivalries with AJ Lee, with Kelly Kelly. These are all employee versus authority rivalries that no one really talks about. And I definitely feel like I keep saying Nikki, Vicky needs more recognition for what she did. I'm not saying I'm a fan of her because I do think she's annoying, but I definitely feel like when it comes to the character stuff, she's way better than half the people on the roster today. So, just saying. Coming number 6. Both of the Bella twins are terrible on the mic. I'm sorry. I don't want to hurt any of the Bella twins fans, but they are terrible on the mic. Seriously. They have no variety on the mic. I feel like they never got comfortable on the microphone. Just never. I don't know why WWE made them sound like rip-offs of the Mean Girls. They just sound so robotic. I think out of the two, I think Brie is worse on the mic. I think Brie has no variety on the mic. Like, every time she talks on the microphone, she just sounds so emotionless. Like, is this what it was all about? Like, she just sounds so melodramatic with no real emotion. And I think Nikki, she's the definition of overexposure on the mic. And what I mean by that is that I feel like she's delivering so much, but I just can't buy into her emotion. Her facial expressions are cringy. It's just everything is just cringe. Like I don't know. They just never got going to mic to me. I feel like when Nikki Bella came back in 2016, I just still was not convinced with her mic work. I'm sorry. Every time she was with feud with somebody, someone else had to carry the mic work. Whether it was AJ Lee, hell, even Natalia, who I think is worse on the mic. Natalia kind of carried that feud when it came to the microphone stuff. Carried it. Carmilla, like she just never really had a good. She was never good at cutting promos. Neither was Brie. Like I said, whether it was Maurice or AJ Lee, Stephanie, someone else always had to carry the microphone stuff because they just couldn't do it. So that's just how I feel. I just don't think they ever had any real variety. Coming in number 8, the four horsewomen don't have any chemistry with anybody. I said it. I definitely feel like, and they all barely any of them have any chemistry with each other. I never feel like they had a definition of mediocrity. I definitely feel like they just don't work as hard as people try to make it seem like they do, and I hate to say that. I definitely feel like they are so overrated that they just don't really care about trying anymore. I feel like they're so full of accomplishments, but I feel like they just all just get really lazy with their work. Like, I don't know. I just feel like I'm not convinced by any of them. I'm glad Sasha's gone. I think we need to get rid of the other three. Get rid of Charlotte, get rid of Becky, get rid of Bailey. I think if they get rid of them, I think the division could be so much better if you will give all that TV time that you give to them to other female wrestlers, like Liv Morgan. Alexa Bliss is all to you because she didn't even like the storyline that she was having. And I feel like it was just such a lazy way to put her back with Bray Wyatt. Like, why are you doing this to Alexa Bliss? She is honestly one of the biggest stars that you have, and you're not capitalizing on her potential like all those years ago. I just don't get it. Charlotte has won her 14 times with championship. She shouldn't. It's ridiculous, guys. It's just ridiculous. They're so overexposed. They don't have chemistry with anybody in the ring. Like, it's just, I'm so tired of Four Horsewomen. I don't know how many times I keep saying that. I'm just so tired of seeing them. I'm glad Sasha is gone. I hope she never comes back. I hope WWE fires her because how the fuck is she in a different company and she's still hired by y'all? What? But if that was someone else, they would have gotten fired. No, Triple H, you need to fire her because obviously she don't want to be here. So get rid of her. What we need to do is get rid of Charlotte and get rid of Becky and get rid of Bailey too. Coming in number 9. Trish and Lena started the push for women getting noticed. I kind of already mentioned this in and reason number in my unpopular opinion number three. But kind of like I just said, I definitely feel like they wanted more for women, and they were not gonna stop for nobody or no one, and they deserved every spot that they got on a pay per view or whatever it was. They worked their asses off, and I definitely feel like they are the true pioneers for women's wrestling. I definitely feel like a lot of women would have not been WWE today if it wasn't for what Trish and Lena did, and maybe it's for other people too. I'm not trying to say that no one's here because of China or Jazz or Victoria, but I feel like out of all those women, they were really the ones who really got like the biggest pushes because they really was thirsty for that spot. They really wanted that top spot, and WWE believed in them. And I'm just happy about how both their careers turned out. They both left on a high notice. They did not had neither one of them leave looking stupid. They both left on a really good note. Oh my gosh, I skipped one. So let me go back to I skipped number 8. No, I skipped number 7. Okay, so I'm gonna just say number 7 real quick. Stephanie McMahon carried the storyline with Brie Bella in 2014. I go back to this feud every time on YouTube, and Stephanie carried these segments. She carried the segments, and she carried the promo stuff. Brie was only good when it came to the segments or when it came to the promo stuff. That's why every segment kind of started off with Stephanie, because no one wants to hear Brie Bella cut a 30-minute boring promo about her repeating herself. So, okay, go back to number 10. Number 10, Neva's heel turn in 2014 went nowhere. I kind of already explained this. This heel turn was poorly mishandled. Poorly mishandled. Nikki Bella should have joined the Authority, except we get a terrible feud between her and Brie Bella about Daddy left us, you stole my prom date, you crashed my car. Like, it was just really a terrible feud, and WWE really went the wrong way with Nikki Bella's heel turn. I definitely feel like her going with the Authority probably would have had given her a little bit more of a character. It would have had given her a little bit more of variety, and I think they kind of botched by not adding her in there. So we'll always just be stuck with what could have been. But I still feel like her heel turn went absolutely nowhere. If you want to say her winning the championship, I guess, but that wasn't even special enough either because they did nothing with that title. They did nothing with her title reign. Nothing. You beat one of the best. You beat the best female wrestler on the roster, AJ Lee, and your title reign goes nowhere. So what did she put you? I sometimes just feel like what is the some? Why do certain wrestlers put over other wrestlers for it to just not go anywhere? I just feel like that's just so dumb to me. It's like killing off a main character on a TV show, and the TV show crumbles after the main character is dead. Because where do you go with the other characters without the main character being the central character? But he or she are not too overexposed, you know. But whatever. Coming number 11, Michelle McCool was the best diva from 2009 to 2010, and I stand on this. I definitely feel like she was a huge reason why SmackDown was very successful in 2009 2010. Late Cool would have not been a thing if it wasn't for Michelle McCool. Layla would have not been a star without Michelle McCool playing off Michelle McCool's charisma and her natural fucking ability. And I definitely feel like Michelle McCool should be in the Hall of Fame. She is too damn charismatic. She was amazing on the promo. She has such an amazing character. And turning her heel was the best thing because something about her as a babyface just didn't work in 2008 when she won the title. But I don't know. Michelle McCool was definitely one that was the best diva from that time. And when she left 2011, it was like, it kind of put a stagnant on Divas division because it wasn't just Michelle. Maurice also left that year, and it just kind of They lost their two biggest heels at that time. So it kind of was like, where do you go? I still just feel like it was terrible to have Layla go over, but I know Michelle McCool wanted to leave for real because her and Undertaker were getting married and she wanted to have a family, which is completely fine. I just feel like Layla wasn't just as charismatic as Michelle, so it just kind of hurt. But I definitely feel like they did the right thing by centering the division around Kelly because She was a good baby face. All she really needed was good heels to play off her, and I think they did a good job with that. So we're almost at the end here. Coming at number 12, Sasha Banks and Charlotte didn't have a storyline in 2016. I know people say that this feud is so revolutionary and everything, and yes, this feud did give us some iconic matches that we will never be able to forget. My personal favorite match between her and Charlotte is at Roadblock. I definitely feel like they should have had main event at that show. Not gonna lie, because the main event of that show was. I definitely feel like they should have main evented. But I definitely feel like in the feud, they kind of just made Sasha Banks look like a fucking loser the whole time. Like, I feel like her as a babyface was just it. They did. I don't think they booked her as a babyface correctly. Like, she just lost all the time without really much of an offense. Like, it wasn't even like a John Cena type babyface position or a Rey Mysterio type babyface position. Like, she just lost all the time without any real offense. Like, Charlotte would just find the most dumbest ways to win, and she just was always losing on no fucking offense. Like, they kind of made her look like a fucking loser. She lost that Hell in a Cell to Charlotte's finisher. I think it's called a mid collision. She lost to that. She lost at SummerSlam to, I think, I don't know if it was botched, but I think Charlotte kneed her in the back and it pinned her. And it looked like Sasha Banks was trying to get out of the pin, and the referee counted 1, 2, 3. She lost that match. She lost at Roadblock. The only real time she's ever won, she's lost all the pay per view matches. The only matches she really wins is on Monday Night Raw. She lost on the first. She lost on their first match on Monday Night Raw. Well, I think they main evented that Raw, and she lost their Falls Count Anywhere match on Raw. Like, she lost all the time, unless like the only time she really won was on Raws. Like, that's just so sad. It's so sad, and I definitely feel like Charlotte was just very overexposed as a heel. I definitely feel like it just didn't make sense. I understand a heel is supposed to be dominant. It's all about winning, 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 winning. But I definitely feel like Sasha Banks, to not have her have not one upcoming in a pay per view, just made her look really bad as a babyface. And that just, I don't know. So to this day, I just feel like they feud didn't really have much of a storyline besides, no, I'm the best, I'm the best, I'm the best, I'm the best. I feel like there really was really no real huge emotional attachment to those storylines. Like, it was nowhere near the Trish and Lena stuff or near the AJ Lee and Caitlyn stuff. It was just about who's the best. And I definitely feel like both of them just couldn't cut promos, and their segments was just really boring. It was just them saying the same thing over and over again each segment. So it is what it is. But I will give this feud a bonus for giving us legendary matches, and you can't take that away from them, and I'm not going to. Coming in number 13, Paige never lived up to her hype. I'm sorry, Paige is honestly one of the most overrated divas or female wrestlers to ever step inside the ring. You know, the WWE had the fucking audacity to give her a Legends biography. Like, it's just crazy to me how much WWE is going to try to manipulate people into thinking that everyone who stepped into that ring was a legend. Like, I just, no. Paige was on a roster for 2 years. She won the championship twice, and she didn't really, I don't think she ever really became a character. Like, she was just really an emo chick, and you know, that's fine, but I wish WWE would have gave that a little bit something, a little bit more depth for me to get behind her. I don't know. I like the idea that she was an anti-diva and everything like that, but I don't think she's worthy of a Hall of Fame ring, so I hope they're not thinking about giving her one. They better not give her no Hall of Fame ring, because that pretty much looks like they're about to give her a Hall of Fame ring to me. And I just feel that's an insult to people who watch wrestling and just know that she was never really that good. Other people had to carry her in matches, and they turned her heel so many motherfucking times for no reason, and it's just like she never really paid off for anything that they ever gave her. I don't know. Paige is just, she's boring. And that's what I said. Coming up, and this is the last of my opinion, is Becky Lynch's man character was forced and terrible. Her man character was easily one of the most forceful things I've ever seen in WWE. They were trying so hard to make her this fucking dominant ass character, and this felt so forced. Her being included in Seth Rollins' business ruined his title reign. Her just cutting these promos against these superstars, and it just feels so forced. Her telling Edge to not hurt his neck again, and then telling John Cena that Nikki Bella is not the only girl that's gonna leave you tonight. It just felt so forced to me. And I honestly, if I was John Cena, I'm thinking like, I'm not putting this little bitch over. And then she was the opener with The Rock, and oh my gosh, it felt so forced. And I don't like Becky Lynch. I think she's so overrated. So overrated. There's nothing about her that stands out or that's even equivalent to other female wrestlers. God. And I'm gonna add a bonus one in here because I've been hearing this one a lot. Um, AJ Lee did not bury talent. She helped more than she people want to quote unquote say that she's fucking buried. Why? Why were they buried? Because they lost to her? That makes no sense. No one else had her momentum at the three years that she was there. Nobody. So cut the bullshit. No one had her momentum. No, AJ Lee helped more than people say that she buried. And if people honestly think that she buried the women's division, then you really are fucking delusional. Because look no farther than the Four Horsewomen, who only put themselves over to benefit themselves, and other female wrestlers don't go anywhere. Really, if AJ Lee buried talent, then how come the Bella Twins got a push? How come Paige got a push? How come further down the road Naomi got her big push? Natalia got her big push. Really, these bitches were buried? No, WWE just wasn't doing anything with them until AJ Lee got her big push, until she cut that promo on them, letting them know that if you want to beat me, you need to be the best. You need to be having my energy in this ring between these ropes. You need to be as strong, as quick, as fast, as smart, as equivalent. You need to be on my page if you want to beat me. And unfortunately, none of them were just as good enough to beat her. So, I mean, it is what it is. So it is what it is. And she's still the best female wrestler to ever come into the ropes. I think AJ Lee is definitely the best female wrestler to ever do it. I think no one has been able to match her energy or outshine her since she's left. And I think her absence is really is very clear when you watch Women's Division. Like, it just seems like something is missing, and I don't know if she ever is thinking about coming back. But I honestly would love if Triple H or Vince McMahon could convince her to come back. Like, it don't even have to be about money. Just tell her a feud. Just give her a money making feud that people can give a fuck about, and just have her come back. I love AJ Lee, and I don't feel like no one else has really been able to capture her fire or really make me interested as much as she did. I mean, Alexa Bliss, yeah, but then it's like they stopped using Alexa Bliss, and ever since that, I just don't. I mean, I love Liv Morgan, I love Alexa, but they're not AJ Lee, you know? They're not her. And I think what we need more is of AJ Lee in the division. So, there you have it, my unpopular 14 women's unpopular opinions. I do have a WWE one that I do want to talk about. So I'm going to talk about that one, then I'm going to get to my couple videos. But thanks for watching. This video was super duper long, so let's cut it here.